Hi there, it's Bruce Wallace from Dundee and Victoria Chess Club in Bonnie, Scotland. Now, this position arose after Black's 21st move at knight a4, and this game is between Persson as white and Herman Grooten, Dutch grandmasters, played in 2007, and it was chosen as Game of the Month by Grandmaster Jacob Agard from Scotland from December's issue of the magazine Chess. I don't have time to show you the whole game, so I've had to leave the opening behind, but the position has arisen out of Sicilian, Najdorf, with an English attack. And after the move knight a4, Agard says that the position is now critical, and the article itself is really interesting because Agard has a go at people basically who have a Fritz mentality, and particularly chess journalists who try to use chess engines to show that chess is really simple, when in fact it's a highly complex game and very difficult to come up with the best moves over the board, particularly in the heat of battle. Now here the critical position arises because Black is threatening to play the move knight c3 check, and if the pawn takes, you then have a discovered check with either bishop d5 or bishop takes e4. Now in this position, White played the move bishop h3, and Agard says that while this isn't a bad move, it certainly isn't the best, and he gives some tips about the best way to find a good move, or the strongest move in the position. And he says it's not down to pure calculation. He says it's down to looking at rules and concepts. Calculation can play a part, but pure brute force in terms of calculating variations isn't necessarily the best way. And he says if you calculate by looking at weaknesses in your opponent's position and also threats to your own position, it will point you in the right direction as to where to look for the best move. Now White gets it partially correct, because the weak point in Black's position is the square e6 with the pawn in front of the king. The threats to White's position arise out of the move knight c3 check. So instead of bishop h3, which does attack the weak point in Black's position, which is why it's not a completely bad move, a far stronger move in this position, instead of bishop h3, is the move bishop c4, because it has a double purpose. It attacks the weak point on e6, but also can come in to defend on the king side. And in fact, bishop c4, and I'll refer to my analytical assistant here, Shredder, this gives White an advantage of 1.84, so an advantage of almost 2 pawns. So if you have bishop c4, you would then have the line, if Black plays knight c3 check, b takes c, b takes c, queen c1, bishop takes e4 check, you then have bishop b3 blocking, then bishop d5, bishop g5, bishop takes bishop, pawn takes bishop, bishop takes knight, rook takes bishop, rook d7, and White is just a piece ahead with a huge advantage. So bishop c4 there after knight e4 dealt with the critical position brilliantly. But after bishop h3, it's still far from over, but it allows Black to come in with knight c3 check. Now pawn takes and pawn takes, attacking the queen. Now here white played knight b3, attacking the queen. And Agard says that this is a risky strategy, that better in that position was the counter-attack, bishop takes e6 check. If the king moves, then knight b3, and the queen is now attacked, black's queen is attacked, as is white's. So if pawn takes queen, knight takes queen, bishop d5, discover check, then knight b3 blocking, bishop takes e6, rook takes d2, and white is a pawn ahead with a slight advantage. So again, that was a better move. However, after b takes c3, knight b3, which is risky because bishop takes e4, and this uncovers the rook on the b file. And here there's a slight advantage to black. Queen c1, which is the only move, and now we have a sacrificial attack, beginning with rook takes knight check, which looks really dangerous. Pawn takes, and now rook b8, lining up the other rook on the b file, with the bishop coming down this diagonal and the queen also coming in. So a fairly dangerous position. Now here Agard says that perhaps white just attempted to calculate on the basis of material, a bit like Fritz or Schroeder or Ribke, and plays the move pawn takes bishop, and this allows a beautiful finish from black. Stop the video and see if you can work out the combination that black plays, and here it's a force win in all variations. So pause the video. It begins with the move rook takes b3 check, pawn takes rook, and now c2 check, which is absolutely crushing. If king takes, it's queen c3 check. Now white can't retreat the king to b1 because black mates on a1. If king b1, for example, queen takes b3 check, queen b2, queen takes queen check, mate. If on the other hand, after c takes b3, c2 check, if queen takes, my apologies, it's here that black mates on a1. A lovely mate, black with bishop and queen against two rooks, two bishops and queen, yet mating, despite being massive material down. So a lovely finish there. Now if we go back, did white have other resources? Using Agard's method, instead of f takes e4, which loses to the sacrificial attack, Agard says that there is a defence, and it begins again with bishop takes e6 check, sacrificing the bishop, king takes e6, and now white can put up a brilliant defence. Again, pause the video and see if you can see the move. The move is rook takes d6 check, which gives white the advantage. Now Agard writes here that intuitively this might not make sense to you and look like utter desperation. Certainly this is the case. However, it is also a great defence, because if black takes the rook with king e7, sorry, if black takes the rook with king takes d6, you have bishop f4 check, bishop e5, then pawn takes the other bishop, king c6, bishop takes, queen takes, queen e3, and according to Schroeder here, a pawn and a half advantage to white. Black's king is exposed, and white's position is preferable. On the other hand, if after rook takes d6 black declines with king e7, now if pawn takes bishop and black continues with the sacrificial attack. Rook takes b3 check. Pawn takes rook at c2 check. Now no longer works, because if king takes c2, queen c3 check, white now has king d1, as that square is available. If king takes rook now, queen takes queen, bishop takes queen, and white is merely a rook ahead and wins. So the mistake for white after rook b8 was the move f takes e4. Now I'd highly recommend the article and go through the whole game, because Agard, I think, makes some really interesting points about how to use concepts and ideas in chess to point you in the right direction about making the strongest moves. Hope you enjoyed that. See you soon on YouTube.